welcome to government class. With you today is Ms. Wokoma Tamuno. Today we'll be looking at the theme, concepts and principles of government, and we'll be considering the topic, Capitalism, Part 2. We'll be taking a little time to look at some things we had looked at in our previous class, the definition of capitalism, economic system, and even the features of capitalism. And so I expect that by now you should know most of them, and as such, you should be able to state the different types of economic system, examine the advantages of capitalism, and also examine the disadvantages of capitalism at the end of this class. In this lesson, we'll be looking at a little bit at the features of capitalism, and then we'll be considering the advantages of capitalism and the disadvantages of capitalism. And so at the end of this class, I expect that you should be able to state the different types of economic systems. You should be able to examine the advantages of capitalism and also examine the disadvantages of capitalism. There are different countries that adopt different economic systems. And one of these economic systems that are being used today is capitalism. And just like every other economic system, capitalism has its advantages and disadvantages, which of course will be the key focus for our lesson today. Let's just go a little backwards to our previous class. We talked about economic system, where we defined it simply as a way a state or a country structures how their economic decisions will be made and how their resources will be allocated. And now their economic decisions are based on how to solve the economic problems, which is in line with the questions, what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So at this point, they get to consider what to produce, how to use their limited resources or allocate their limited resources towards certain channels to produce a particular product, and how to finally distribute these products they have finally produced. And then we went on to look at the basic 4 types of economic systems which we have, and we said they are capitalism, socialism, communism, and mixed economy. After which we looked at what capitalism as a concept actually is. And we said it's an economic system in which individuals or organizations are allowed to own and also manage businesses, and then also control the economic resources available in that country or in that state in order to make profit. And we said our key point or a key element to be noted is that profit making is very important in capitalism. And after which we saw the features of capitalism, where we said private ownerships, individuals or organizations are free to own and manage businesses, freedom of choice, where people are free to buy whatever they want to buy with their resources. People are also free to own whatever properties they want and to get different jobs as they desire. And then we looked at the profit motive, that the reason or essence why these individuals go into such businesses, innovate, work hard, and even invent is to make profits. And we also looked at government participation, which is very limited in a capitalist system, whereby the individuals have upper hands and more control of the means of production than the government. However, we still saw some roles of the government which are indeed minimal. And finally, we looked at the competitive market, where we said capitalism deals with a free market system and as a result brings about competition amongst different producers selling or offering similar products. Having looked at all of this, I want us to look at the advantages of capitalism. Some of the advantages of capitalism are efficient allocation of resources, innovation and invention, economic development, high-quality goods, alternative choices, and competition. We're going to be treating them one after the other. First, efficient allocation of resources. Capitalism is a system that ensures that efficient allocation of resources is being carried out and channeled to places that have high demand of such products, which simply means they'll be willing to invest where market is. That's what we mean by products that will bring high profits to them. These resources will then be distributed according to customers' preference and trends. What we mean is that because they are the ones that own these resources, and they know that where they put their money, they want profit, and this profit belongs to them, they strive hard to ensure that they put their money where there is market, where they will gain profit. Take, for example, the issue of hair. A long time ago, or some time ago, people were using synthetic hair. But as time went on, people began to use human hair, Brazilian hair, and even some people are going natural these days. And so as a producer, because the producer wants profit or wants to go into the market where he knows that there is profit for him, he will not want to sell the synthetic hair that is already going out of place right now. Rather, he'll get to do things like our natural hair. You need some hair creams, you need some things to apply to make it look glossy, to make it look nice, to make it soft. He could go on to produce such things like those hair creams and ointment, rather, for the hair. Or the producers could go on to produce human hair, different kinds of human hair, like we have Peruvian and the rest. Why? Because he wants to stay in the market. And so he channels enough resources into that area to gain more profit from that market. Another advantage is competition. Capitalism gives room for competition. The free market system as a whole promotes competition amongst producers of goods and services. This free market system is one where there's a large number of sellers who are willing to sell freely their products the way they want and how they like, in order to compete with others in that same field or producing that same product. And then you see that as a result of this competition, they strive to work hard. They strive to innovate, make better the products they have so that it will be better than the next person's own in order to bring profits to them. And as a result, competition will always drive down prices of goods and services. Take, for example, these women in the marketplace. Can you see the competition? It just tells you this one is selling the same bowl of egusi. They are all selling the same thing on the same line. So it shows you that there's competition. But this person might go ahead to reduce the price by 5 naira just to make sure that she sells more and makes more profit. Whereas this person might go on to make her own even drier just to gain more customer and then make more profit. So you see, they get to adopt different strategies and then work hard just to ensure that they stay in the market and also make profits. Having talked about competition, let's look at innovation and invention. This is one very major advantage of capitalism that brings about development in a country or in a state. To keep a producer or an individual in this competition, you see that these people begin to carry out different methods to innovate things and also to create things. So they become innovative and creative in a way that they can step up their game and still be relevant in that market. For instance, like the hair example we used, yes, that's a good one. They begin to, we don't want the synthetic hair again. Let's innovate. Let's do something new with the ones we have. Let's make it better. Let's step up. All because they want to remain in the market. While some go ahead to even invent new goods. Either they invent the new goods or they add value to their existing products. So that's one thing capitalism does. It enables the producers of goods and services to either invent new goods or add value to their existing products. And producers are now compelled to create a variety of products, which on the other hand also enables the consumers have variety at their will to choose from. Another point to note is entrepreneurship. An entrepreneur is one who sets up a business, takes up the risk, all in a bid to make profit. And so this is one thing that capitalism encourages. It encourages individuals to set up businesses, take up risks concerning those businesses, and also make profits at the end. We can see a whole lot of invention that has been carried out. It just shows you of how people have moved from a particular period to some other time, but they didn't remain the same. As a result of wanting to be in the market and not out of the market, people keep inventing, innovating, and keep moving on with the trend of time. Capitalism also encourages the production of goods, but in high quality. As a result of the competition that is open in the free market system, you see that if your goods are not of high quality or are not better, rather, or like others, people may tend to not buy from you. So it means that your products might not sell. So capitalism, as a result of a free market system, makes these producers of goods and owners of businesses produce these goods with high quality. And the quality of goods are being improved on by these competitors in order for them to stay ahead of others in the market and make more profits. You can see that profit is always coming in because that's one key element that capitalism has. Another advantage is alternative choices. As a result of these high-quality goods and this competition that is being open in the market, you see that these producers or owners of business will always bring up different products to still be, like we said, be in the market, and also to be ahead of others. They try to get new products. They try to make their products better. And as a result, you see that the consumers have alternative choices to meet their needs. For instance, the normal milk we take, it's still milk, but you have different brands, different producers. They bring them out. Some have them in smaller sachets. Some even have them now, the liquid ones, still in smaller sachets. Some have them at cheaper prices, all for the consumers to have different alternative choices. Okay, we can see like a typical example like what we have on the board. This is a producer's goods. This is another producer's good. And this is another. And so what happens? This lady is being open or given the opportunity to make different choices as she wants, which gives her alternative choices. Economic development. One other advantage of capitalism is it brings about development in the economy. These individuals or companies or organizations that own these businesses happen to pay, in one way or the other, brings about development to the economy. You might want to ask how. The government of that country or that state, of course, takes tax. And these individuals, companies, and organizations pay this tax to the government, which the government, of course, will use this tax to better the economy, bring about development in economy in different forms. But they also have a role to play. This government, in one way or the other, plays the role of trying to increase or promote the exportation of the home goods, which in turn will bring income to these individuals and then increase the payment of tax, which the government will use to bring about different social amenities, which will lead to development of the economy still, and increase the standard of living of the citizens. So capitalism fosters economic growth in a country or in a state. Having looked at all these advantages of capitalism, I'd like us to see the disadvantages of capitalism. Capitalism has some disadvantages such as inequality, exploitation, uneven distribution of income, unhealthy rivalry. We'll take them one after the other. In capitalist economy, these individuals and business owners that get into these competitions actually do them to still be in the market or to keep up with the competition and still be relevant in the market. But one thing to note is that a few individuals or business owners become successful in this competition, while others may actually not be that successful, so they remain low down there. Now, these ones that are successful, in one way or the other, take hold of the market. They become a household name. Everybody wants that product. Everybody wants to use that product. As a result, they become very successful and are placed up there. Now, them being placed up here and the others who are not even being recognized, who are not even being known, and their products are not really used, are below. So this, as a result of the success they've gotten or they've achieved, enables them to have a huge profit and gives them the room to enjoy the benefit of capitalism, which actually tells you that anybody can have high profits, the other people can have low, nobody is being concerned. Unlike a system where the government runs and ensures that everybody, the gap is just not too much. Everybody has a relatively equal income. But then in capitalism, it shows us that some people could be very high up there with huge profits and they could enjoy the benefits of capitalism, while others may actually not be known, and so they might actually be low there. So profits and benefits of capitalism at this point shows that it can be unequally distributed. Exploitation. Now, these few individuals or business owners who have become successful and have gotten a hold of the markets could actually take advantage of that position to exploit people. They can either exploit people off their money or exploit even the workers in one way or the other. How do we mean? Now, for instance, because your goods or your product is being needed and is being on high demand, these producers or owners of businesses could just wake up one day and increase the prices of their goods, as a result, exploiting the people or the consumers. And so exploitation is one thing that is being seen in a capitalist system where those who are successful and who really do not have competitors close to them could just increase their prices at their will. Remember, we said in a free market system, they are free to fix their prices, and as such, they could increase their prices. While at times, they could also exploit workers, make them work for more hours, and then pay them less than they deserve. This, actually, is a form of exploitation, seen as a disadvantage of capitalism. Another disadvantage is uneven distribution of income. Capitalism as a whole encourages uneven distribution of wealth, like we had said. Now, the income and wealth amongst the citizens cannot be equal because we had said that some people are way up here enjoying huge profits and the benefits of capitalism, while the others may not be there. So it shows you that there's a huge difference between the rich and the poor, and capitalism makes it very obvious that there is a difference between the haves and the have-nots, or the rich and the poor. So we can see that that's not a good thing, so it's a disadvantage in the capital economy system. And lastly, unhealthy rivalry. As a result of the competition that goes on in this economic system, or in the free market system, these individuals or business owners or producers can actually carry out, as a result of this competition, some methods or some acts that will not be good. Now, because of these competitions, it gets to some points where this competition becomes tight. And then they feel they just don't have any other thing, no other way to fall on. They give themselves into carrying out different measures that are unhealthy in that competition. So capitalism as a whole encourages or leads to unhealthy rivalry, where individuals and businesses tend to look forward to outdo each other in one way or the other, just to stay above. Let's take, for instance, where you have two products. Let's say product A and product B. Both of them, they produce pasta. And then the competition gets too tight or choked up that company A finds no other way or a solution to it. And then as a result of company B's success, company A goes about saying, company B's pasta is wrong, it's dangerous to eat. Tell some false stories about it, and people believe. And in no time, the demand for that product drops. So you can see that that is an unhealthy rivalry that has gone on between these producers or owners of these businesses. So this is one other disadvantage that is seen in the capitalist system, which is unhealthy. I'd like to say we've come to the end of this class, but before we go, let's take a quick recap of all we learned today. We looked at the definition of capitalism, where we said it's an economic system in which individuals and organizations are allowed to own and also manage businesses and control the economic resources in order to make profits. And then we also looked at some features of capitalism, where some were mentioned: private ownership, freedom of choice, and profit motive. And then we went on to look at some advantages of capitalism, such as alternative choices that's being made available to consumers mostly, and then economic development that comes about as a result of the success of most capitalist owners of businesses and their likes. And then we looked at competition, which is a healthy competition in the free market system. We also looked at the disadvantages of capitalism, where we mentioned exploitation and also uneven distribution of income as a result of some owners of businesses being more successful than others. Just a quick one. We're going to go through this short test for us to know how well we understood today's lesson. The question says, which of the following is an advantage of capitalism? A, equality. B, alternative choice. C, exploitation. If you picked A, you're wrong, because in capitalist economic system, you do not have the equality of income distribution or the like. If you picked B, you're right, because in capitalism, one advantage is that the consumers are being presented or are being given alternative choices of different goods or products. Well, if you really didn't get the first one, let's see another question. I guess you get this now. The question says, all of these are the disadvantages of capitalism except A, inequality, B, competition, C, exploitation. All right. If you picked A, you're wrong. Inequality is not an advantage of capitalism. And then if you also picked C, you're wrong. The answer is competition, because in capitalism, there is healthy competition amongst producers of goods and owners of businesses. I hope you learned a lot from today's lesson. You got to know about capitalism. You've even got to know about the advantages and disadvantages of capitalism. Well, I'd like to say we've come to the end of today's class. See you some other time. Thank you.